The following is an EHC media production.
Hey, this is Daniel Crimmins, host of SmackDown and Out. Join me every week where I will discuss everything related to SmackDown Live. Rumors, stories, and even a recap of each episode. Join me every week right here on the RWT page.
What's going on, RWT family? This is your boy Moses Marquez, the voice of the Major League Show, and I'm coming at you to tell you if you enjoy the way I go in-depth into all things New Japan Pro Wrestling on the Major League Show, then you will love the way I go into all things pro wrestling on Smart Mark Radio. We talk WWE, Impact, Lucha, Indies, and everything in between. So again, if you want to listen to a little Smart Mark Radio and you consider yourself a Smart Mark, check out smartmarkradio.podbean.com. Again, smartmarkradio.podbean.com. You can also check us out on SoundCloud under the artist name Moses Marquez. Thanks, guys, and we hope to catch you on later this week.
Coming soon to RWT.
So, The Undertaker, the Phenom, versus Triple H at the Super Showdown in Australia.
A new kind of show from a voice you've never heard.
Randy Orton, the Viper, and the Legend Killer. What more do I have to say?
Now that she has arrived, the podcast evolution has begun.
My name is Moni, and I'd like to welcome you to Wrestling Nerdship Podcast.
Hey guys, Mike Larkin, RWT. Episode 12 of the Future Is Now is here. You had a 1 week break from me because, well, Hurricane Florence. Now, guys, as you know, I live in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The Carolinas were affected, and I gotta say we were very blessed and we were very lucky. I was in Greensboro, North Carolina for about a week. Returned home, no power loss, no damage to the house. God willing, God is good, is all I could say. My heart goes out to everybody in North Carolina. My uncle was with us. His hometown in Sherrill, South Carolina, his town was flooded, but from what I've heard, his house was in one piece, so that's a good thing. He's at my cousin Kay's in Greensboro, North Carolina, where we were about a week ago. I'm just happy to be home, man. It's been a crazy, crazy week. Just a week of a 9-hour drive home because the roads were closed, roads were flooded. This hurricane, man, it's been a killer. And I just wanted to say, the unity of the Carolinians in North Carolina, helping people, rescuing people. Unfortunately, we did see lives lost, and it really breaks my heart. It's been no joke. We had a hurricane that went from a Category 4 to a Category 3, then all the way down to Category 1, and then all the way down to a tropical storm. Just thoughts and prayers to everybody affected in a Hurricane Florence. Scott Dawson of the WWE and the Revival. Unfortunately, family's home was flooded. Matt Hardy and Rebby Sky over there at the Hardy compound, House Hardy, had some unfortunate floodings. Just thoughts and prayers to everybody that was affected. I don't mean to start off with a down here, guys, but that's why you didn't get yours truly last week. Last week I was in Sherrill, South Carolina, so I was at my Uncle Jackson. It was coming our ways, and we moved out about a little over an hour and a half, close to 2 hours over to Greensboro, North Carolina, because this hurricane, man, was coming our way, and just it's been a hectic week, folks. It's been a hectic week, so I'm back in the saddle. I'm podcasting. doing my thing on the Steve and Mike Show, the S&M Show podcast network. The website is out, steveandmikeshow.com. Is out now. It's up and running. TalkinWrestling.com is going to be in the works coming soon. I'm working on that website, which I've discussed. It's been a hectic week, and again, I just wanted to take this time before I get to talking about this week's 205 Live and NXT, 205 Live and NXT both on Wednesday, 205 on Wednesday now. It's just been, my goodness, what a week, and I just wanted to send my thoughts and prayers to the people affected in the Carolinas from Hurricane Florence. That's all I can say, and God bless you all, and everybody in there, just stay safe and stay strong for those affected by Hurricane Florence. Just, my thoughts and prayers are with you, and just God bless you all, please. And on that note, I don't mean again to start off with a downer, but I just had to get that off my chest. Love to you all as well, and let's get started. Let's talk about this tonight as I'm recording this. It's 12:44 a.m., and this is now September 20th. Thursday, but early morning of Thursday. I'll be recording Max Wrestling in about a couple hours time with my boys Max on Max Wrestling with Daz and Butcher. I'll be back on Max Wrestling this week, so let's talk about 205 Live, then we'll get into NXT. 205 on its new home of Wednesdays. Let's just jump right into it. Here we go. Here's 205 Live. Alrighty, let's hop right into 205 Live. An action-packed week with 205 Live. We opened with a video package highlighting tonight's main event being Cedric Alexander and Drew Gulak for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship. And our opening matchup was TJP versus Lince Dorado. It was not a bad match, I gotta say. It's TJP doing a submission game, the high-octane aerial assault from Lince Dorado, moonsaults, just the lucha maneuvers. It was really good, the lucha libre style. I thought it was a solid matchup, a solid opener. The finish came, it kind of reminded me of, for those who remember Chris Jericho and Rey Mysterio's feud for the Intercontinental Championship back in 2009. I believe that match at Night of Champions 2009, where Chris Jericho unmasked Rey Mysterio and rolled them up for the 1-2-3. That's what the finish reminded me of, because that's what it was. The finish came where Dorado hits the Bronco Buster in the corner. TJP pulls off the mask of Lince Dorado, the Lucha Libre tradition of having the, it's disrespectful. It's a part of the, it's what makes the luchador, ripping off the mask, rolls up Dorado for the 1-2-3, and TJP is your winner. Then afterwards, TJP takes Dorado's noisemakers, the streamers and all that, and Dorado chases TJP to the back. So now we have a feud with TJP and the Lucha House Party. Looks to be in the works. Then we go to the back, and Lio Rush, who we now see on Monday Night Raw, is Bobby Lashley's manager, hype man, if you will. And we see Drake Maverick on Raw as well as a part of the managing services of the Authors of Pain. Lio Rush comes into Drake Maverick's office, and Drake mentions that Lio told him that he cannot face Noam Dar tonight, which was the scheduled matchup, because of his commitments with Bobby Lashley. Lio says it is a gift and a curse. Drake says you can sing with Elias or play jumping jacks for Kevin Owens, but you have to fulfill your commitments to 205 Live. Then Lio says that, wait a minute, man, I see you on Raw with AOP. Drake says that Lio will fulfill his commitments and face Noam Dar next week, or there will be consequences. So next week we get Lio Rush versus Noam Dar, the matchup. Drake says that Lio will fulfill his commitments and face Noam Dar next week, or there will be consequences. And then that brings us to another highlight package, and Drew Gulak and Cedric Alexander getting ready for their main event matchup. We come back and Drake Maverick is in his office, and here comes Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali says that he hopes Drake has some good news for him. Ali appreciated that tune-up match with the enhancement talent last week, and he's looking forward to getting the green light to face Hideo Itami. Drake says he saw the match in his last match with Hideo Itami. He saw Ali fall flat on the mat. Drake says he's looking out for the safety of the cruiserweights. Drake says that he talked to the medical staff and he has the green light to face Hideo Itami next week. Ali tells Drake that he will not regret this, but Hideo will. So 2 matchups for next week on 205 Live. We have Lio Rush and Noam Dar, and Mustafa Ali finally gets his hands on Hideo Itami. That brings us to our main event. Cedric Alexander versus Drew Gulak for the Cruiserweight Championship. Hard hitting, the suplex to the outside, the reversals, the Michinoku driver, that nice reversal sequence, just hard hitting uppercuts, Drew Gulak smacking Cedric in the face, the top rope lariat. I mean, Drew Gulak, safe and sound on the ground, Mr. No high flying, I'm not lying. He pulled out all the stops. He did the top rope clothesline. He went at it with Cedric, and I'll say this right now. I enjoyed their SummerSlam matchup on the kickoff for the Cruiserweight Championship, but this match succeeded it. This match was great. It was way better, I would say. It was better than their matchup at SummerSlam, and I enjoyed their matchup at SummerSlam. The finish sequence came where Gulak and Alexander started stand in opposite corners and both hit boots. Both men thinking the same thing, the same idea. Gulak slaps Alexander 3 times and Alexander hits the back elbow in the lumbar check for the 1-2-3. And Cedric Alexander is still your Cruiserweight Champion. It was really good. Go out of your way. Both matches are very good this week on 205 Live, but go out of your way to watch the main event Cruiserweight Championship matchup between Cedric Alexander and Drew Gulak. Buddy Murphy's watching in the back because we now know at WWE Super Showdown on October the 6th, Cedric will defend against Buddy Murphy for the Cruiserweight Championship in Buddy Murphy's home country of Melbourne, Australia. On his turf, if you will, as we get to the interview portion afterwards. Buddy Murphy's in the back. He's asked about his match against Cedric Alexander in Australia. Buddy says that the winning streak is impressive, but it will be more impressive when the age of Alexander comes crashing down at his feet. People watch 205 Live to see him steal the show, and it will be no different at Super Showdown when he becomes the new Cruiserweight Champion. All of this will be his. And that was your 205 Live for this week. I mean, it was a solid show. We have a new development in the rivalry now, which looks to be a rivalry now with TJP and the Lucha House Party. We see Lio Rush and Noam Dar going to face next week as opposed to tonight. And we had a great main event matchup for the Cruiserweight Championship, and now we know Cedric will defend against Buddy Murphy at Super Showdown. So it was a fine edition of 205 Live. Go out of your way to watch Cedric and Drew Gulak. Next week we got Lio Rush and Noam Dar and Mustafa Ali and Hideo Itami. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be an incredible matchup from top to bottom. Hideo and Mustafa, I'm intrigued because I want to see Mustafa because you make me want to hate Hideo Itami because, which is rightfully so. He's the heel, what he did to Mustafa Ali. And then you got Lio Rush and Noam Dar, which is interesting because Lio Rush is absolutely killing it. I love what he's doing with Bobby Lashley. I find him very entertaining. And you got Noam Dar, UK, man. So, I mean, it's a hotbed, UK, for talent. So I definitely want to see that. And I mean, it was just all around a solid edition of 205 Live. But I urge everyone to go see and check out the Cedric Alexander Drew Gulak matchup for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it over and we are going to talk some NXT from this week, which, you want to talk about a main event? We're going to talk about a main event. Here we go, guys. Let's talk about NXT. Alrighty, let's talk about this week's edition of WWE NXT. We open with tag team action as Dakota Kai teams with Mae Young Classic participant Deonna Purrazzo, the virtuoso herself, against Aaliyah and Lacey Evans after we saw the confrontation last week on NXT. This was what it needed to be. Nice double team action from Aaliyah, who I'm digging as a heel, and you all guys already know I love me some Lacey Evans. And Dakota Kai and Deonna Purrazzo did their thing. It was just Deonna getting beaten down. Dakota Kai makes the hot tag. The kicks, the Yakuza kicks in the corner, the face wash. It was good. It was what it needed to be. And, Deonna Purrazzo is amazing. I want to see more of her. We will, because she signed to NXT. Dakota Kai, I believe, is going to be doing her thing on the NXT UK brand as well. Aaliyah, I've seen her as a face, and I'm kind of digging her as a heel now. It looks like they finally got something for Aaliyah, and Lacey Evans is just gold. She's just gold in my personal, humble opinion. The finish came where we saw, excuse me, I just had a brain fart. Sorry about that, folks. Dakota Kai was going to roll up Aaliyah, pretty much like an O'Connor roll. Could have been like a Backlund Bridge. I don't know what she was going for, but Lacey Evans made that tag, and as she was in the roll-up position, Lacey Evans makes the blind tag, hits the women's right, the right hand, the knockout punch on Dakota Kai for the 1-2-3. And Lacey Evans and Aaliyah were your victors over Dakota Kai and Deonna Purrazzo. I'm intrigued. I look forward to seeing where this goes forward. The Velveteen Dream is in the back, and he's asked about how he carried the momentum from his match against EC3 at TakeOver. Dream says, if you watch the WWE Network, you would know that he took that momentum into victory over Johnny Failure, as he calls him. Dream is asked about the attack on Aleister Black. Dream stops the interview, and he asks, why would you ask him about people who are not the Dream? And then he walks away. And then we get footage from the whole thing with Bianca Belair and Nikki Cross last week, which was a tremendous matchup and a great brawl. Bianca Belair was asked about what happened. Belair says that Nikki is crazy and she took it to the level that she did not expect. Belair says she's not going to back down and that she's undefeated. And then we saw the Street Profit vignette where they were talking about playing basketball and just, that they're going to dominate the tag division, which was fine. I mean, they got that feud with the Mighty, so that's obviously going to continue. Then we get Jackson Riker, the former Gunner from Impact Wrestling, who's 1/3 of the Forgotten Sons, takes on Humberto Carrillo. This was just, I've seen Gunner in Impact Wrestling, and he is a former tag team champion with James Storm. He's a former television champion there. He's a very good athlete. He's very, very good. Jackson Riker just came out the gate. Friggin' just shots to Humberto Carrillo. Carrillo got some shots in. He friggin' just hit him with like a couple right hands. He hit him with a kick. He was going for the springboard, but Jackson Riker catches him with a double sledge in midair, swats him out of midair. Then he hits what looked to be like a slingshot jackknife powerbomb, a slingshot powerbomb for the 1-2-3, and this was the Jackson Riker show, was to enhance the Forgotten Sons, which is him, Steve Cutler, and Wesley Blake, and just Jackson Riker showing his dominance. So Jackson Riker with your victory over Humberto Carrillo. It was fine for what it was. It was a showcase matchup for Jackson Riker. And we get to the back, and Candice LeRae is in William Regal's office. She says she doesn't have any other information other than the fact that she didn't do it in regards to the Aleister Black attack. A cowardly attack, defying authority, trying to ruin someone's life. Who does it remind you of? Pretty much insinuating that Tommaso Ciampa is the one who did it. Regal says that he talked to Tommaso Ciampa and then he didn't do it. Regal asks Candice if he knows about Johnny's whereabouts. Candice says that they are trying to separate their personal and private life, and she says that he went into the back and then he came out and they drove home together. Regal thanks Candice for her help, and we have a video package for the Pete Dunne Ricochet matchup. A nice highlight video. Speaking of highlight video package, we have a highlight video for Keith Lee. He says that Limitless is taking the advice of the American Dream Dusty Rhodes not to quit and be yourself. Limitless is coming back failure after failure to prove that his drive is limitless and his future in WWE is limitless. Take just one moment and bask in my glory. I've been saying on this show, I'd love to see at War Games him and Cassius Ohno. If it's not Keith Lee, and I've seen a lot of people wanting to see this particular matchup as well, and I agree with certain wrestling fans on this because I was in a group and a chat where we had this discussion. I would be very interested to see Cassius Ohno go against Matt Riddle at War Games. So my two possible opponents for Cassius Ohno at War Games is probably going to be either Keith Lee or Matt Riddle. We shall see. After that, the Keith Lee video package, we had EC3. He mentions Lars Sullivan and the whole thing where he being the one to attack Aleister Black. We saw that, and then they highlighted that comment from EC3 where he insinuated that Lars Sullivan attacked Aleister Black, and then Aleister Black attacking EC3 before his matchup with Raul Mendoza. And then we find out that Lars Sullivan will be in action next week. And then we find out, due to their confrontation last week in the back with Tommaso Ciampa, one half of Heavy Machinery, Otis Dozovic, will go one-on-one with NXT World Heavyweight Champion Tommaso Ciampa next week. So 2 matches already announced for both 205 Live and NXT respectively next week on the 205 Live side. We got Leo Rush and Noam Dar, and we got Tommaso Ciampa. We got Mustafa Ali and Hideo Watami. So Leo Rush and Noam Dar, and Mustafa Ali and Hideo Watami on 205. And on NXT, we have Lars Sullivan in action and Tommaso Ciampa versus Otis Dozovic of Heavy Machinery. That brings us to our main event, which was Pete Dunne and Ricochet, champion versus champion, title versus title matchup. Where to begin? This was just dives, the joint manipulation by Pete Dunne working on the hands, the counters from like a springboard into a DDT. This was just high flying, high octane aerial assault, joint manipulation, the catch can wrestling. Go out of your way to watch Pete Dunne versus Ricochet. And then that brought us to the finish, because these two, the finish really just came where they were both struggling to get back to their feet. The crowd was into it from start to finish. I can't emphasize it. Please go back and watch. I mean, this another solid show from NXT and 205 respectively, but go out of your way to watch Pete Dunne and Ricochet. Please do. I urge you. The finish came where the Undisputed Era attacked both men, and that ended in a no contest. The War Raiders came out to help out Pete Dunne and Ricochet. And the War Raiders follow after the Undisputed Era. They chase them off and they run after them. And then Pete Dunne and Ricochet are standing there with both of their respective titles, staring at each other. And that was the end of your NXT. So both shows, again, just really good this week. I'll be back next week with episode 13, highlighting 205 Live, which again features Leo Rush and Noam Dar, and Mustafa Ali and Hideo Watami, and NXT, which highlights Lars Sullivan in action and Tommaso Ciampa versus Otis Dozovic. Now, again, go out of your way, respectively, on 205 Live. Go out of your way and watch the main event of Cedric Alexander and Drew Gulak for the Cruiserweight Championship. And on NXT, again, watch both shows, but go out of your way on NXT to watch Pete Dunne and Ricochet. You will not be disappointed. It is a great, great matchup. And that's going to do it for me. I'll be back on Max Wrestling this week. Check out RWT on Facebook, Twitter, and the whole nine. Check out Max Wrestling Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and the whole nine. Max Wrestling UK. Check out the StephenMikeShow.com. Just check out pro wrestling, man. It's a good time for pro wrestling. We got a lot of shows coming up. We got Super Showdown coming up October 6th. We got Evolution on the 24th, 28th, somewhere towards the end of October. I'll probably touch upon as we get closer. And then November 2nd, we already got WWE in Saudi Arabia, which they announced that Crown Jewel is going to be Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship, and then Survivor Series in November as well. So it's going to be a lot of pro wrestling coming up. Ring of Honor has Death Before Dishonor, which features Jay Lethal and Will Ospreay for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. Impact Wrestling has Bound for Glory coming up on October 14th with Austin Aries versus Johnny Impact for the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. And again, the reason I mention is just a lot of wrestling coming through on the event side of things. So check out and support pro wrestling. Enjoy 205 and NXT, now both on Wednesdays. Check out both editions this week. And I'll be back next week with episode 13. So everyone have a great night. God bless. God is good. I am safe. And thoughts and prayers to everybody affected in Hurricane Florence. And just everybody stay strong and just be safe. God bless you all. I'll talk to you next week.